And a lot of you are supposed to be at work right now. So, how many of you called in gay today? Me too. I get to call in gay every day to work. So, I know you don't want to talk about me, which is totally okay. So I am going to introduce a couple members of this panel. Welcome the Carmilla movie producers, Melanie Window and Steph Watkins. Now get ready. The stars of Carmilla movie. Elise and Natasha! Hold on to your hats, please, because you are about to see something that no one else has seen. I haven't seen it. Natasha and Elise haven't seen it. Get ready for your eyeballs. The official Carmilla movie trailer. Cool love. Strange love. Is taken away.
Happy anniversary, faithful viewers. Welcome back, Grandpa.
Oh my god.
Carl, what are you doing? Hey, it's me.
What is going on? Carmilla's spark is going on.
And in the meantime, Carl just keeps randomly vamping out. What are we supposed to do about that? Go back to the scene of crime. It's lovely. It's anything in 19th century schloss. Let's search this place.
For a girl who died 150 years ago?
You think you get away with it?
Would you really faith that human consequences? Miss this. Dope.
This was Romeo and Juliet in us. You totally don't knock her ass.
So, what you guys been up to? Anything? Oh yeah. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of like actually putting on the movie and everything, I want to just point out something pretty darn incredible. There are two out queer actresses in a movie produced by a queer producer playing queer characters.
Yes.
That's pretty freaking incredible. It's like gay inception. Natasha and Elise, doing something like this is actually pretty rare in this industry, so I just wanted to know like what that's like for you.
Where to begin? Man, this has been such an incredible journey from start to now, obviously finished. And you know, it's been such a gift to be a part of something that's making so many shifts and strides within a business that is starting to slowly have more representation and more accurate representation, and to be a part of that and to see a group of people that have come here because they connect to the story that we're telling and connect to these characters. I really feel I feel so much gratitude for that. It's been such a gift to be able to be part of this this journey for ourselves and for everyone and for the world as a whole as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, you know, I was out before Carmilla to some extent, but I didn't realize until I started working on Carmilla how much work there was to do and how much bigger this was. And it's been really cool to be a part of something that sometimes helps me step away from my ego or that part of me that like wants to act because, you know, it makes me feel good. And it's nice to have a fandom that it really resonates with. And like, as you said, I'm just so full of awe and gratitude for it, and it's just been like the most incredible thing. I mean, it changed our lives, and it changed some of your lives, and like how amazing is that, and how rare is that? You know, I started acting to tell stories because I wanted to tell stories and I wanted to connect with other human beings, and now I get to do that. And it's all because of you guys, and it's because of you, and yeah, it's just been so amazing. She really is, Carmilla's like, really is my greatest love affair.
And speaking of this, is it good for us to have you on board and just lead this series with such honesty, gratitude, grace, authenticity, and real work, and that means a lot. So, thank you.
All of these emotions are making me really
Are you guys getting a weird sense of deja vu? Like last year I was sitting exactly here, looking at you, there. It's all happening right now.
I know.
And I want to thank you all for being here as well.
There's so much love.
Wow, 5 minutes in, it's already like that. Okay. So at the core of the film, we have the Scooby Gang, and of course the two of you. But we also have some new major players, including Dominique, Kara, Dominique. Dominique. How did working with these new actors change the dynamic between all of you?
Oh, it just added to it. I don't think it changed anything between us at all. I mean, they stepped in and it was like we had been working with them from the very beginning. And I'm sure it was really daunting for them to come into a project that's, you know, we're such a tight-knit cast and we've been working together for so many years. And, you know, it was probably weird to come onto our set. But yeah, I think we had such a great time working with them. Dawn is such a giving actress, and I had such a wonderful time connecting with her, both on and off screen. Just such a pleasure to work with, and then our other characters as well, our other cast mates, Grace and Kara. I had admired Kara's work for years, so it was really, really cool to finally get to work with her. But I don't think it didn't change anything. It added something special to it. But
I feel like every year we just keep on like collecting more wonderful people.
yeah.
Like it's just like a tumbleweed, and we just keep on like grabbing somehow the most wonderful people to have with us, and these guys were no exception. The three of them were so wonderful, and like Natasha said, I'm sure it was, you know, daunting to come onto a pre-existing project, and it kind of is like jumping onto a ship that's already going at full speed, and they did so with such effortlessness and such an open heart. Like they all just came in and wanted to be there to tell that story. And I'm so grateful that we got to have them. Yeah, they're such incredible actors, and I'm so excited to see what they were up to on the screen.
And beautiful people, all of them.
Yeah.
So
Like inside and out. But also stunning. Yes. Yeah.
So this is a question for all of you. How are the themes in the film different than some of the things that we tackle in the web series? Like, what are some of the things we get to see this time around that maybe we haven't throughout the course of the web series?
I can start on this one. I think for us in this movie, we wanted to make something that's not like the end of the world. So there's no gauze and bananas and like gates of hell. It's more personal. It's still like a wacky adventure. I think Phoenix Kobe had said lesbian Rocky Horror. That's pretty much it. There's obviously, there's some fun, more dramatic stuff later, but it's still, I'd say, on par tone-wise with season 3, but less mythic, big stuff. And the theme of the film is really about making amends with your past in order to move forward. And we get to see these guys at a different place in their life and their relationship. It really is about how they work together and then they're in a mature, loving relationship and they communicate better. These kids have grown up and it's so nice. Yeah.
To add to that, like I think from season 1 to 3, Carmilla and Laura really had to learn that they were stronger together. But now in the film, they already know that. So that's like a theme we didn't explore this time. I think, we've talked about this, but very much throughout like season 2, towards the end, after they break up and kind of come back together, they just realize like, hey, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to work with somebody else. And now they know that. So together with the gang of Scoobies, they already know that there are differences in their diversity. As a group of friends even makes them stronger. And so they're able to, do like really normal, casual things that one would do, like fight people ghosts. Casual Friday afternoon stuff. Yeah.
Laura's got little walkie-talkies for everyone.
She's also very, very prepared. Well, Steph, you were talking to me about when dreams are a big theme. Can you expand upon that at all?
Absolutely.
We didn't have really any dream sequences in.
We didn't, because there was a locked camera.
We did talk about the dreams in season 1, but we always talked about everything during the web series.
Yeah.
And now we get to see things that before we could only describe.
Absolutely.
So we got to move away from the exposition. We got to live in the action, or we get to live in the action for the film.
And we live in the POVs, which is something I really loved during the filming and watching it in the film. You can just have a close-up on Laura, Carmilla, and you know where they're at without having to verbalize it. And that was really beautiful. But going back to dreams, those are really prominent in the novella if you've read it. They were in season 1, and we kind of go back to that and see, when Laura was having dreams sent by Elle in season 1, and those start happening again, which prompts this whole revamping business. You see why that happens, however, it was a lot of fun.
And also, you can play in the surreal, you can play with images, things that you bring different images together to tell a story that, before what we could do is say, this is what I'm imagining, this is what I'm seeing, now we get to show it to you, which means you get to bring your own interpretation. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And it also puts the characters in a present tense perspective instead of, a lot of the blog stuff is, well, first of all, there's a different persona that happens because when humans, when I'm in public, I'm aware more of how I'm coming across it than say when I'm in private. And so by putting these characters in a position where they don't have time to think about what they're going to say before they say it necessarily, or create an alternate perspective on it, it's then in the most truthful setting and then in the most reactive setting, and we really get to see them in the middle of crisis too. And so I think there's so much awesome stuff that we get to play with in that.
That's such a good point. I never even thought about that, but really it's like Laura's longing all the time.
Yeah, like there was always like so we get to see even our relationship from a more private perspective.
Which I love.
Yeah, like a lot of our favorite scenes from the series were when we're in the background more and it's a little more intimate. We get to delve into that a little bit more, which I think is so beautiful.
Oh wait, there are people here. Sorry.
Intimate private moments you get to see.
No breath this time. That's nice.
Although we're very grateful for Kotex too.
We are absolutely. We couldn't be here without them, and they took a chance. And they're no brands. There are a few brands, but want to do that. So
Sure, they let us take a lot of risks during the web series. They didn't interfere in the way that you might think a brand would. They really trusted us, and if we said this is what needs to happen in the story, and this is what's going to work for the audience and the fans as well as the characters, and they really listened to that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and now it's cool to have freedom.
And now it's cool to be doing a movie, and it's different, and there isn't a brand, and you get different freedoms, and you can push the envelope and the boundaries a little bit.
And speaking of partners, I definitely want to shout out the OMBC and the Canada Media Fund. And
Sure,
we
and
have Telefilm.
Telefilm.
We have our national
Yay.
film funding agency, Telefilm. So thank you, Canadian government, for supporting your
Little
local
producer
film
plug there,
endeavors.
just thank you to the Canadian government for supporting the arts,
Which is why
and we encourage all governments to do the same.
potentially elsewhere later on. But it has a global appeal because it means a lot to a specific niche, and we're happy to be part of it. And there is value in this, so please,
For sure.
yeah. Not just for us, but everyone else who wants to make content like this.
As the only American on this panel, I'm feeling a sense of deep shame at my heart. Did I mention that Dominique was in the movie? You guys like her?
They are forever!
She's so
The best. So, how does... I had a joke. How does Elle's return affect Carmilla? Well, affect Carmilla's life, but also the relationship between the two of you, which now is going 7 years strong.
Well, without being too spoilery, but for those who are worrying, there's no love triangle and there's no angst.
There you go.
Carmilla's over Al, for sure. However, it's still a weird thing to have to encounter an ex who completely destroyed your heart, and then encounter him again while you're with the love of your life, and then on top of that, they haven't seen each other for hundreds of years. So that was really interesting to explore, for sure.
And you know that lesbian relationship drama lasts through centuries.
Processing. I mean, I think it's less about their actual relationship and the heartbreak, though, more than like other things that happen that you will see.
I think it's about choices that you make as well, and then, you know, facing the music for choices that you've made, and it's not necessarily about their relationship with each other, their lover relationship with each other in the past, but just like, I made some choices, and now I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I don't stand behind those choices anymore, but I have to figure out how to deal with that, and that puts me in a tight spot, or a bad spot, and I need to, you know, make amends.
Yeah, and you really do have to heal from your past in order to move into your future. And these characters, our characters, are still at a time of transformation and going into new avenues of their lives and new careers and new things that are happening. And also, I think when you're in a relationship with someone, you're in a relationship with that person at that time in their life, and that means that there's going to be previous partners. And those are a part of that person's story and a part of that person's story. And so that's part of it. There's going to be, you know, old wounds and things that need to be healed and things like lessons that still need to be learned. And I think that that's really what this is about is both Elle and Carm and Laura all going through these new phases of letting their past go and letting it inform their future.
And, well, I mean, also, Ella's a ghost, and she's been a ghost. She's a ghost, so she hasn't really changed. Like, she's been confined to the house that we see them in. So that is also different, because she's had centuries to stew on things, whereas Carm has had this whole life, and she's had this whole outside world, and now she gets to, you know, have this love and this amazing life, and gets to be human. So, you know, in a way I can see why Elle would be
Absolutely.
a little peeved.
And that's something that was really important to us, you know, as we were developing. We really thought going strong about the lesbian ex-psychotrope and how not to fall into that. So it was really, really important for us that Elle was never motivated by, oh, I want you back, I love you, Carmilla. It's more, you took something from me, and I'm here to collect. So,
And she's a very three-dimensional character. You can really see her perspective.
Absolutely.
You can have empathy for her. She's an antagonist. She's a great antagonist. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
But
I understand
she's
her.
not like a two-dimensional evil, you know.
No,
villain.
we totally understand where she's
Yeah.
coming from, and that's why Emily and Charlotte are also here, because these are three people who were wronged by Carmilla at a certain time. Carmilla and her mother, of course. Because the mother does all the bidding, as we know.
That's right.
And you see how they take, and Elise was talking about this yesterday, you see how they make different choices in the face of tragedy. Some people use wrongdoings as an excuse to be mean, and some people decide to get over it.
Yeah,
you were really
when
when
tragedy happens, do I choose to take that pain and turn it into hate, or do I choose
to forgive and move forward with love
Yeah.
despite the pain that I'm in.
And also
Why would I
perhaps,
cause someone else pain when I'm going through pain? That's just perpetrating more hatred and pain.
and just to jump on that, you might make one choice in one century. Carmilla, who has many centuries to think about her choices. And then will actually grow over time. Maybe your first instinct is to go into that hate and anger, but then you actually, over whatever it is, days, weeks, months, years, realize, no, actually, I don't have to be that person. I don't have to identify with that whole thing anymore. I realize I can let go, and I can take a chance with my future. I can DM seize the day. And that's a big part of the theme too, is, you know, Laura being a little bit trapped. Carpe diem seize the day. Jump into the future without fear.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to touch on about Elle briefly is that obviously she's the Laura from the novella. She's also the one who, when Carmilla was revealed to be a vampire, like recoiled in horror. And Laura is the evolution of that, so to speak, because she's the modern day woman who is very open about her sexuality and was queer before she met Carmilla. You know, so I think there's an interesting parallel there that we get to play with and have other nods in the novella and specific lines that are in the book that are in the film.
Yeah,
You know?
true. Let's talk about tropes, baby. There's a lot of talk about tropes, especially when it comes to LGBTQI characters. And I'm curious, you talked a little bit about this, about how the film deals with some of these major tropes and either kicks their ass or deals with them straight up.
Producers?
I think we just talked, absolutely, we talked about, you know, not wanting, being very careful about the psycho lesbian ex. And that's, I really don't think that's where she comes from. She's got a real clear objective that I understand. And you'll see that Elle is kind of our stand-in for white feminism in the film, but you'll see that when the film comes out. I think it was important for us to also add more queer women of color to the cast. So, I just love it. It's so fun.
good.
And it's like, yeah, let's put, and Ellen mentioned that actually too. Ellen Simpson there, who's creative consultant on the film. She's like, more gays, let's just pack it full. And then, I think you might have said it before, but everyone except Kirsch plus Matt, everyone is non-binary or a woman, so we have our one token guy.
In the background.
Yeah. The casting director's like, are you sure you want all women or non-binary? And we're like, yes.
Tropes? Anything else?
Steph said it so well.
Yeah, that's
She just said it so well. I mean, that's exactly it, right? It is having, you know, a angst-free relationship. I mean, they have their ups and downs and
that's
issues, but it's not. Yeah, it's not about health. But yeah,
I think we covered it. Yeah, and that you just mentioned the last thing, you know, about a healthy working relationship and how they work together, and like you said, they get to be more intimate. And I forgot what else I was going to say.
Well, I was actually going to jump on that after throwing it over there, which is, I don't know if this is technically considered a trope, but it feels to me like it comes up a lot that, you know, there has to be angst between these two women for there to have conflict in the movie, and that the conflict in the movie seems to come from the angst in the lesbian relationship. And that was a big thing for us, is that, I mean, you don't want the conflict in the movie to come from angst in their relationship. That doesn't mean that they don't have things that they don't see eye to eye on, because they're both people, beings.
And that's not a realistic relationship.
Well, exactly.
And also we've done it. You know, season 2 was all ends. I know.
We're over it. We get it. And that was something, and ultimately, sometimes writers like to throw some of that stuff in there, and we go back and forth and banter and work with them, and between all of us, we find a place to make sure we have enough conflict that the drama can be exciting and interesting, but that also we're not getting trapped in those ideas.
Now, can you carve that onto a plaque and give that to every showrunner of every show?
I know, right? It's an easy shortcut to conflict, because you just put that conflict there between those people, and then it's an easy thing to write, and I don't know, maybe showrunners will be like, oh my God, how dare you say that? But I do think it can be a bit of a shortcut, whereas, you know, we want to try to find I think we want to write ourselves into problems, you know what I mean? Make it complicated for ourselves as creators, and then we have to write our way out of there, and if we find an easy solution to the conflict, then it's like, oh, A, B, C, done. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of stuff that is repetitive, and because it takes longer to figure out how the heck to get out of it. And we as producers, are there, and we're like, oh, we've made it complicated here because we don't want to get trapped in this, but then we're like, oh my God, now how do we get them out of this? It can be very difficult.
Absolutely.
So,
And also, just a quick little shout out to these producers who, like, you guys are really the unsung heroes. Like, we get all the FaceTime, but like, you guys, the amount of care and love and dedication and like boss that you put into getting this done and making it the best that it could be with the budget that we have is amazing and inspiring. Doing it with a baby on set, like breaking all the rules of what I ever thought a family could be and what I like changing my perspective of what being a mom versus should be. Like,
oh yeah, he's
that's
around.
annoying. These women are incredible.
Yeah.
It is actually pretty amazing for me to have been able to make this movie with my baby, who is a newborn, was born during the development process. And
2 hours after a no call.
it's true, actually. Well, like I went into hard labor a couple hours after I was on my bed, and I was like, having contractions. But, and Spencer's like on the other line. We're just like three of us chatting. But not every environment would accept that. Some environments would be like, whoa, go, have your baby. When he's old enough, come back to us. And so that is a testament to Steph, my partner, who I'm like, I can't do this right now, and she was so there, but also just the whole gang of people who were like, yeah, let's make this, let's accept this, because a lot of women, once they have babies, it's like go in that closet, and then when the baby goes to daycare, you can come out.
No. It's so inspiring.
It can be a drag, man, and that makes people think, especially people who are artists, they think, I don't know if I can have a baby, I need to choose, and, you know, I don't think you have to choose.
Way to do it.
So,
Liz Lemon says, I can do it all!
so it's a testament to the environment.
And a quick shout out to this one right here because I couldn't do it without her. And I'm so glad you came on board since season 2 and learned a lot from it as well.
I did, definitely. Yeah, sure.
So, okay, we want
Okay, one last one, and then I'm sure it's okay. Just going back to choice and representation as well, I think I said that last year's panel. It's so important to us, and it's gotten more important throughout the years, especially as we learned a lot from you guys. I can't even tell you how much we learned from you guys. But we're also not perfect, and some of it works, and some of it doesn't. And
I know,
it's
it's
just
true.
one story, and there's going to be tons of others, and
Yeah.
that's why I encourage all of you, if you want to, just
Yeah.
dive in.
Well, and I do think we say that a lot, make the media that you want to see, and that we're making efforts to do that, and that we encourage everybody in the fandom to do the same, and that we're certainly, I think especially these ladies, but all of us, we're always having that dialogue, but we're excited to continue to chat about it.
Mm-hmm.
We were really lucky that, we have Elise and Natasha at like second or third drafts come in and voice their opinions and see what you want to see change, and you really do some incredible workshopping it that I think only makes it better because you know these characters so well.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, thank you for letting us do that and trusting us. Something I love. This is just like a weird love fest now. Right? I like you so much. But Elise and I always talk about how we love that we can meet up on a weekend and just spend an entire day going through a script together and talking about it. Because not every actor wants to do that. And that's not wrong per se, but we're lucky that we actually can do that. Because some folks just like to not rehearse at all and just show up on set. And sometimes I like doing that, but I think for this particular relationship and these characters, it is important to spend time together to make it feel authentic. So yeah, I love that we can do that and actually work
Tirelessly on this film.
Well, let's keep the love going. Raise your hand if Carmilla has changed your life.
I have a lot of feelings.
I mean, you guys changed my life in tremendous ways, and so I know I'm grateful. Okay, moving on. Please don't cry.
You're my fairy gay mother.
So, for Natasha and Elise, stakes have been so high for your characters for so long.
Pun intended? Steaks.
Vampires know everybody.
Sorry, go on.
That was the daddest joke you could have possibly.
Well, I have been told I am the daddy of daddies.
Now I feel uncomfortable. Anyway, so, what was it like to just play a normal couple for a little while there? Was it fun or was it super weird? Because I feel like it'd be super weird.
Oh no, it was so nice. I mean, I just said that first, but then you have to say that.
Yeah, it was great too, Natasha.
It's nice.
It was so good to see these characters, you know, in a more, not with imminent death in the future as we go on.
Yeah.
The world's gonna end.
We're
what are we gonna have for breakfast?
Yeah. At some point.
Yeah.
Both of us now.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And just getting to like peek into their life and their home is just
That was
fantastic.
so nice.
The first like 5 minutes of the film and then you start revamping and
Good stuff. But it's cool to also see how they approach that together and how they work together as well. Like it's scary for both of them at first, but then they're like, okay, we're just gonna tackle this problem. Let's do it. And I really love that. Yeah, it was nice to. I mean, people ask me what my favorite scenes to film are, and they really are just the intimate moments between Laura and Carmilla because, like, A, I love working with you. And I do some of my best work with you, I think. Maybe. But, yeah, but also, you know, which is like so important, because it really does take two people to act. I mean, unless you're doing like old Shakespearean monologues on the stage, it's like, you need another person. So it's so cool to like have those moments, and those are my favorite moments, is when it's like really about them and the relationship.
Wasn't it fun to discover your apartment? Like when you first walked in on set and you're like, this is where we live?
It was really nice, and we were a bit confused as to how they afforded it.
It's a friend's apartment.
Yeah.
the old
They just
vampire
have
trust fund.
For sure, I had a Swiss bank account, and that's
And like stifling money through the years.
yeah, I'm sure it's a countess, and then probably like, and we mentioned Grace Rock a lot.
Yeah, we do mention the trust fund. But also, these gals have taste, man. They know how to find the right deals.
Interesting. That was all Laura, I think. I was like, whatever, you choose, I trust you.
Done this before, waste your time.
So I have a technical question because I was a dummy and didn't bring my phone up here. What time is it? Just so, I mean, I'll keep you here.
2:30.
27? Math, please.
I mean, there's
18 minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so one last question because this is important, and then we're going to turn it over to you guys. So Steph and Ellen, you guys have been working very hard to get the perfect soundtrack. And I know it's super queer. Please drop the exciting news about who will be featured in the movie.
Ooh, okay.
So we had
Oh yes, we had a lot of really amazing queer and feminist identified bands, some of which they know.
Yes, and also thank you to all the amazing suggestions that we got on Twitter. We weren't able to include everybody, obviously, but it was also fun to discover a bunch of new cool bands that many of whom I didn't know. So thank you.
So the first one that you may know is Tegan and Sarah.
Another one that you may know, Luna. Very good scene. And then are we going to talk about, we're introducing, well, they're not brand new, a young.
revamped. Oh yes, yeah. There was Damage from season 3. They went as a song, and they have another new cool one called FCK. Yeah. And then the last one? No, and then the revamped version of Love Will Have Its Sacrifice. Yeah. It's really cool. And obviously some really amazing. And this is the first time we've had a composer for the series.
Carmilla was there, and he's amazing.
Amazing. And he did like a specific Lauren Carmilla theme that we hear a couple times through the movie. And it's
Watch this.
All right, so we're gonna turn it over to you. You have a couple more minutes tonight. You know, but I'm moderating something. I have a couple rules. Keep it lean and keep it clean today, kids, all right? All right, so get up and line up. I think there's one microphone.
Sí, no, claro. Pero es que cuánta gente va a hacer preguntas.
Forward because there's like.
Ya te digo.
Sorry, we're not getting FaceTime.
Are you by any chance cosplaying someone we know?
Oh yeah, I love it so much. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So in the past few years, we may have lost a couple of LGBT characters on TV.
What?
What? I've never heard that before. So what would be the one character y'all will bring back? Each of you can decide just one.
I feel like this is one of those questions that people ask that's like says a lot about your personality.
It makes me nervous.
Like, would you rather put one person on a train track or 3 people? It's kind of like a Sophie's choice question.
Can I say all of them? Can I
I would say Ruth, probably. Yeah. It's hard, yeah.
We can all unanimously agree that.
We love all our children equally. That's a mama saying that. I love you just as much as your brother, I promise.
I'm wondering, what would be on your character's playlist?
Oh, I love these questions because I love like, I know there's certain things that like help me get into character, and so I love things like music and even just like shoes are one that sounds weird, but yeah, shoes. Like I think walking in your character's shoes is so important. Like it'll change the way that you carry yourself, and so it's like as soon as I put on the biker boots, like I drop into charm. Great question. So I'd say like. I think a lot of 70s punk rock, because she was there for the birth of punk rock. So I think like really obscure or original punk bands that maybe not a lot of people know about now. Yeah.
I would say Laura probably pre-Carmilla was a lot of like pop music, like she, I don't know. I feel like she probably went through like an Avril Lavigne phase for some reason. But I feel like, oh yeah. But now, let's see, in high school. But I feel like since we've been together, I feel like they probably have a record player, and then Laura's like every month they go through like a new era, and the farm's just teaching her a lot about music, and they like waltz and they're like,
Laura's teaching Martin too.
yeah.
I think so. I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I start like humming.
What a skater boy is.
I start like humming stuff in the shower, and Laura catches Carmen, and she's like, oh. So funny. I also feel like Carmi also likes Baroque music, and she's really down with Monteverdi. Yeah. She was
like to go from shooting a web series to feature film? Yeah. I think we can all agree that it was so great to be able to expand these characters' worlds a little bit more and be able to see them, not just from a vlog perspective, but be able to walk around with them and just have the camera be more like a fly on the wall as they're experiencing things. From a purely selfish perspective, I was very happy not to do as many vlogs. And be able to like play.
Like you're so, I can't even imagine having so much stuff to say.
Being able to have more scenes just between the two of us and with the whole gang. It was great.
And at first we were like, oh, we have so much time, but then we realized 14 days is not a lot of time to make a movie.
I was just gonna say that. It seems
still
very
very
rushed.
Yeah, there's not. I think from our perspective, you often hear that you write the movie first stage, and then when you shoot it, and you also write it in the edit. And I think for us, since it was the first time that we weren't contractually obligated to have 36 episodes, then we look at scenes and say, you know what?
Yeah.
This part doesn't work.
We don't need this scene
Let's change
anymore.
it, let's cut it, or
We don't need this piece or whatever.
at the end, with
I'm not even in the movie anymore, actually.
yeah, and we found so many, like, through the whole editing process. We discovered so many new things. We can play around with structural things with dreams and just make the scenes as best as they can be. And I think we spent the most time with on the edit, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
10 minutes left.
I just wanted to come out and say I have a question. Thank you. Your show has changed my life, and had it not been for you, I wouldn't have had the courage to come out to my parents. And even though it wasn't like a good experience for me, I got through that because of watching your show. And I have something for you. I don't know if you accept gifts, but I drew something, and I'm not the greatest artist, but I'm totally rambling right now. I'm really gay. And
Hearing things like that is really the best gift that anyone could ever give to us. To hear that this show has made a difference in people's lives, that's really, I think, what art is intended for. And I'm very happy that we did.
It is the ultimate reward.
Thank you.
It's very good.
But we'll take your drawing too.
Can we move to the next one?
Sorry.
Thank you so much. We're going to do a meet and greet after too. I just want to make sure we get done with this question. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to reading this. Thank you so much.
So I think that perhaps that question kind of answered my question, but just in your opinion, coming into art and media as a queer woman or a queer non-binary person, it's hard. It can suck in a lot of ways. And what is your go-to rebuttal when they say we shouldn't be doing this or we shouldn't be telling these stories? And thank you so much for
Well, I guess who is saying?
Luckily
I think that qualifier is needed, like a financier.
Yeah.
Then as a producer, I'm going to say yes, and actually you'll be surprised. The people are going to come, they're going to see this movie, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to go make the same movie that you've already seen 10 times? No, make this movie one time, and people will love it, and then we can make more of them. So that's what I would say to a financier, but I don't know, like to a fan, to a friend.
Yeah, I mean, I've luckily never run into that. I've not had anyone tell me and try to Canada.
I have a few words, but I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not something that I can answer in one simple answer because I could probably speak for an hour about that, and I could speak for an hour about how important queer representation is, positive queer representation is. It's a topic that's very important to me. But again, I want all of you to especially as Americans, hold us accountable because I do need to track my privilege because I am from a liberal city and I'm very lucky and I don't experience that kind of close-mindedness in the same way that I'm sure all of you amazing, great people have, and I have so much respect and admiration for you, and I was so ignorant to like how much nonsense is going on in the world until I was introduced to my American fans, so like, I didn't mean that in any disrespectful way though. My most loved fans and friends and loved ones are Americans, but I didn't realize because it's legal to, you can fire somebody for being gay in 28 states, which is more than half of the country. In Canada, you cannot fire somebody for being gay, and like that blows my mind. I didn't know about that until I started working on Carmilla, and I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful that you guys all, helped me be accountable, and that you all teach me what is, politically correct, and so I'm really grateful for that as well. Yeah, I wish I could answer it better, but
Thank you so much.
One more question, okay? I'm sorry, guys.
My girlfriend and I watched the show and cried, so we never seen it.
yeah, we all may watch that show and cry. Never enough time.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, it might be hard, but what was your favorite scene from the entire series?
Entire series and new series. And movie or just series? Sorry.
Series.
When not falls together.
She says either.
I like that one, and I like the one just classical of season 1, where I started lighting candles and you were dreaming, and then I asked. I said it just like that. And I asked her out to the dance, and it's like when I first I'm like, that was the scene we auditioned with too, I think. Virgin sacrifice and virgin. Yeah.
And it really is it sounds so cliche, but they all, I had an incredible experience from day 1 of season 1 up till now. And there was no way to pick a favorite one because they're all so wonderful for all of their own reasons. I love just the ones with Natasha, I love the ones with all the cast that's all squeezed into one frame together. I love all the rapid fire, witty banter between them. I love the fight scene that we got to do. I love it all. It was all great.
I think definitely have favorites per season. Season 1, episode 36, that I love, obviously. Season 2, episode 22, I love as well. I think that was some really wonderful work by you guys. Quiet stuff. And season 3, I love everything with Sherman, obviously, and some really great moments with you in the finale. And that final drone shot at the end, I'm just like,
Yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah,
The whole third act, third act of season 3 is supposed to be really fun and very fast moving. We didn't have the same kind of preparation that we normally have. We later want to have a real moving camera, and so that was really exciting, raw kind of filmmaking. So I really love that.
and the movie, there's so many